Feminists are out there in the streets saying mass migration, immigrants are welcome here. And then they get over there and all of the immigrants are like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, feminism, cool. And it's like they actually think, these liberals, that these people will arrive on the shores of England or America and they will all of a sudden realize their internal yearnings for democracy and for feminism and for transgenderism.
It's a fantastic point. We were discussing this the other night when we were doing debate prep. It is, in fact, the case that Islam hates progressives. I mean, they hate progressives. They're a special kind of hate. But if progressives are the ones advocating that we bring in more, then they will vote along those party lines.
That's right.
To get their cousins in and to get their fathers in and to get their
brother husbands.
Their brother husbands. Yeah, exactly. They'll vote to get all those people in, and then they'll look over and they'll say, okay, now we're in. And they're like, yes, absolutely. We're all for the liberals. We love the liberals. I heart liberals.
I was listening to Daryl Cooper's podcast, The Fear and Loathing in the New Jerusalem. And he made a really good point that we like you said, Seamus, we are atomized sort of people and we don't really have this unbroken line. But if you go to speak to those guys and you ask them who they are, you'll have to take a seat because, they're, father is this person from this place, third of my line, whatever it is. But you tell us and we're like, I'm Jake, go to YouTube channel. We don't really know who we are anymore and where we come from. And I think it's all because of
no sense of identity. World War II. Yeah, no sense of identity anymore.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. And one more thing I'll mention about this is you pointed out the fact that obviously Islam is incompatible with progressive ideologies and they hate progressives. And I think there's a certain kind of progressive on the ground who's a young, dumb, starry-eyed person who doesn't see that incompatibility, or they think that Muslims are going to be grateful to them or agree with them. But the true believers at the top know Muslims hate them and want to kill them, and they don't care because they're fundamentally suicidal, and they also know that Muslims want to kill Christians, and that's enough for them, basically. Yep. If you will attack Christians with them, then you are their ally because that's their ultimate goal.
Yep.
I think that you're right to a degree, but I do think that at the end of the day, they think that their worldview can essentially they think that they can force their will on Islam.
I think the starry-eyed ones do.
I think it's ridiculous to think that, but I think that the people that people that want to see the U.S. like torn down, I think they believe that because the way that the left looks at the U.S. and Western society is they see all the bad things and they say if we just tear it down, all of the good things will remain. Yeah. We tear things down not because they're just looking to destroy the society. That's not really the goal. They believe that when you tear things down, the good stuff remains. Right? The concept is Aufheben. It's to destroy as well as to prop up. Right? It's
but maybe there's an easier explanation for it. Maybe it's just that the same way that Christians no longer think in terms of identity for cross-generational planning, maybe progressives really don't anymore either. And they're looking at the here and now, just like most of Western society. If you look at the way Western society is set up, even in democracy, it's this way, right? It's like you're in for 4 years. What cross-generational plan are those guys making? Almost nothing, right? We set everything up for like, gimme now, gimme now, identity now, gimme now.
Gotta win the next election.
There's no cross-generational plans. And it's like, maybe progressives don't really have one. Maybe their plan right now is just, this looks like it's inequality and we need to put a stop to it. And the people they're bringing in, though, are capable of that.
So do you think that the system that the kind of liberal democracies that we live in, do you think that those are a cause of the atomized individual?
Yes. Yeah? Yes, of course. Look, universal suffrage is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I agree 100%.
Yeah, and the thing is like our founders knew it. They didn't trust the electorate.
That's why they didn't instantiate it.
Why the hell would you ever trust the electorate? They didn't, not for a second.
Yeah.
And when left to their own devices under the Articles of Confederation, the states didn't trust the electorate.
To your point, and I want to articulate this so that way people listening can at least think of it through this way, right? People will swear up and down that it's super important that everybody has the right to vote, right? It's a fundamental right. It's so important, blah, blah, blah. Then you ask that very same person, how many people do you interact with during the day that are stupid? And they're going to say,
Oh,
at
most
least
of them.
half the people.
Yeah.
So then why do you want those people to vote? If you believe that half the people that you interact with, or more maybe, are stupid, right? They can barely get through the day. You're amazed that they can drive a car, that they can do simple things.
Yeah.
If you can't fathom these people managing their day-to-day life, why on earth do you want them to vote?
Well, if you don't trust a person's wise enough to be the president of the United States until they're 35, why do you trust a person to be wise enough to vote for them until they're 35?
They don't even think women can pick who they want to date until they're 25 because their frontal lobe.
Yeah, they're frontal lobe, but they can vote. It's like
Or be on OnlyFans. You can join OnlyFans
Yeah,
when
you
you're
can join
18 years old. But
I've never heard a good reason for why some blue-haired, wannabe Marxist, tofu-eating university student should be able to vote. I've never heard a single
let's
What's their stake?
just say what's
agree with
true is that the reason we have universal suffrage is not because anybody thought that was the best idea. That was put into place because then all that elections become and all that democracy becomes is a big dog and pony show where it's just propaganda. It's just who has the most money and the most ads.
Well,
It
and
also
it
becomes
becomes
about
a
voting blocks.
shadow front for like what the real government is. We've been talking about the deep state since 2016. And as long as you have one person, one vote, and you're bussing in illegal people or dead people are voting and all these other crazy things, it creates like a fog of war where the people who are really running things behind the scenes can get away with murder and do whatever they want.
And to take a page from my old libertarian days when I was younger, as Hans Hermann Hoppe would say, democracy always tends towards the franchise being universalized over
Papa
time.
got
and it's
you
for
out of
that-
libertarianism too. That's what happened to me. That's what-
Honestly, just learning a bit more about the Catholic faith did. But
yeah.
I'll mention this too, because we've said a couple things about the fact that like universal voting obviously isn't a great idea. The founders didn't think it was a great idea. I said this the other day. We essentially have a system that's set up in such a way where if a problem needs to be solved and the solution is going to involve short-term pain and take more than 4 years to solve,
not
then you
gonna
can't
happen.
solve it.
Right.
But thank goodness none of our problems can be described that way. Like, thank goodness no serious
Well,
issue in the world
it's
takes
like-
more than 4 years to deal with.
all the things which are perceived as strengths, we are now seeing in modernity are really big detriments. Like checks and balances, for instance, that slows the government to like such a slog and crawl that nothing gets done when it's important that it does. We have a government shutdown right now, for instance, right? All slogged in partisan politics, right?
Yeah.
Checks and balances preventing anything from being done about this. And it's because the distrust was so high that they'd rather see the government doing nothing
Than
than
anything.
Yeah, than anything. And so the thing is like that should give you some insight into what our originators and founders thought of universal suffrage. Like, what a terrible idea. What a terrible idea.
Another good example of this as well is that like one of the biggest problems we've got is obviously the birth rates. We talk about this a lot. We have a demographic crisis across the West. How does
And
a
it's
politician...
and by the way, it's like brewing across the world in general. The UN has had these
everywhere.
predictions for years about when population is going to peak and then start to decrease.
South
and they're
Korea,
like actually really optimistic about when the peak is going to happen. It looks like it's probably going to happen sooner, but I'm not an expert.
But I mean, like
Rather than later.
South Korea, 0.7.
Yeah.
Like I was just talking to them upstairs about
Extinction
how
level.
I've got a friend who's in the South Korean military, and they are literally finding South Korean specimen men who are above 6 feet tall, and they are paying them good money for their load, basically.
Oh my God.
To go and try and repopulate, to try and create what we were calling the Uber Korean.
Imagine if there was like imagine if there was just a system set up where men and women, created children together. Imagine if there was just a way to do that. Imagine if people got married and
That's
spent
all
their
on
life.
this. But what would a politician realistically do, right? If you're going to be campaigning, are you going to come out and say, all right, ladies, back
Get
to the
in
kitchen,
there."
back to the kitchen. We need to go in. We need to start making love, making babies, making families, or just open the back door and just bring in a bunch of
Migrants.
What-
Yeah. Well,
kick the can down the road.
Or even better, you have to pander to that vote, right? So now, unfortunately, that block gets to control whether or not you get any power or not anyway. And so even if it's necessary that you need to move something in society that moves you towards birth rates, if it disaffects any tiny block that could be the swing block for your vote, that
can't do it.
pandering completely destroys your ability to make any of those movements happen. And so it's like, for all the goods that you can point to, man, there sure are a lot of bads.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.